Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica. We are on block number 1 of our Sew Quilty Sew and Stitch Along. So if you missed the introduction video with all of the information for our sew along, please make sure to go back and watch that. You can also go to my blog. I have a blog post with all the supplies you'll need, the sew along and stitch along schedule, and just any other information that you need will be all in that one blog post, and that will be linked below this video. You can also go to confessionsofahomeschooler.com, and there should be something right on my homepage that you can click on to get to all of this information. If you'd like to stitch along with us, you can also grab the So Jolly Stitchy ornaments. We did these a couple years ago, but if you haven't stitched them yet, now would be a great time to join in on our sew along. The Stitchy blocks are in a little bit of a different order than the quilt, but you can stitch the same block we're sewing. Just make sure you stitch it in the correct spot as shown on your Stitchy pattern. I'll put a link for the So Jolly Stitchy ornaments below this video, and it's also linked in my blog post, so grab your fabrics and floss and you can join us for some stitching fun. So let's go ahead and dive right in. If you followed last week, you should have your borders and your sashing all cut and sewn and ready to move on. Today we're going to be working on block number 1. Now, like I mentioned last week, this block has quite a few small pieces and things need to sort of line up. So I highly recommend pre-starching your material. Hopefully you've already done that, but if you haven't or you don't like starching, I do recommend at least using something like Mary Ellen's Best Press on this fabric because, like I said, there's some small pieces in here, as you'll see in just a minute, and just getting everything to stay accurate and not stretch and just, you know, get wonky on you, that's going to really help you out. The other thing that's going to really help you out is just trimming up your sections as you go. If all of your sections are nice and accurate when you go to put the whole block together, those should be pretty accurate as well. And I do have that information in the pattern. So on the steps where it's important, I tell you what to trim it to and make sure you follow those steps. So block number 1 is our tape measure block. It looks like this. It's a really cute sawtooth star right here in the center of our tape measure. And then of course we have our tape measure over here. And I think you can see on this side how many tiny little pieces there are and how well they need to line up. I'm going to show you the back of this so you can see my pressing. I did not press my pieces open. I made sure that all of my pieces were nesting, and then that way they would go together easily. You can sort of see it probably peeking through the shadow on the block. You can see where the seams are nested. So for example, this seam right here has been pressed towards the light there and then pressed out this way. And one little tip I have for you, because as you'll notice, you've got a darker fabric being pressed towards a lighter fabric here. When you have your ruler and you're trimming, normally I'm having my ruler be nice and straight and I'm just trimming as flat as I can along that line. This is an exaggeration, so don't do it this much, but if you angle your trimmer slightly this way and you've got your darker fabric underneath and you trim, it will trim that darker fabric just slightly more than the lighter fabric. So when you press the darker fabric toward the lighter fabric, that darker fabric won't show up underneath your seam. It's a cute little trick. I learned it a while ago. I can't even remember where I heard it, but I thought, well, that can't hurt. And I gave it a try on a red and white quilt because I think we all know if you're pressing anything on a red and white quilt, you better be pressing it towards the red or you're going to be able to see it. And for that quilt, I really wanted my seams to nest. And so I was pressing towards the white and it worked out perfectly. So try that little tip. I think you'll enjoy it. And then you end up with a lovely block where everything is nice and lined up and you can't really see those seams after you're done. Now for the star on this block, I did my fast flying geese method, and I do have a video and a cheat sheet on flying geese here on YouTube. I will make sure to link that below this video, but there are instructions in the pattern, of course, as well. And we're making these flying geese 4 at a time. It makes it really fast and easy. I gave a little bit of extra fabric on those, so when you're trimming them up, and you'll see in that video when you're trimming them up, it gives you just a little bit of room in case your flying geese got a little wonky on you, which they can very easily. So you're going to want to see that instructional video if you need help on flying geese. So that's it for the Quilty block. Let's take a look at our first Stitchy block. So again, it's gonna just be this cute little tape measure. It's a very fast and easy. These Stitchy ones are gonna take you no time at all. So if you are doing both the Quilty and the Stitchy version, I think you'll have no problem keeping up. You can definitely do this little tape measure in one night. For this one, again, I'm using DMC floss for everything. All that's gonna be in the pattern. And so I think it turned out great. I love doing these little Stitchy pieces. They're so fast and easy, and they're perfect to do while you're watching TV in the evening. So not too much to say about this one. It's very easy, very beginner friendly, and should only take you about an evening to complete. So if you're watching a movie or just hanging out visiting, it should be pretty easy to get this one done. So I think those are all my tips for this week's block. So your homework this week is to complete block number 1, and then I will be back here next week and we'll be making block number 2. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. You can also reply or comment below on this video as well. And then of course the pattern has all of the step-by-step written instructions as well as graphic illustrations to help walk you through each step of the way. So that's it for block number 1, our tape measure block. Go ahead and finish this block this week. Post your progress in our So Quilty Facebook group. It will be linked below. And then I will meet you back here next week for block number 2. Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica and today we are on block number 1 of our So Quilty. I will be back here on YouTube next week and we'll be working, I called this one So Accurate or So Measure, I can't remember. So Tape, no. Should I name them?